everybody. Happy Monday, August 28th. How are y'all doing? Wasn't quite sure I had it going right there. Caught me by surprise. If you're here, say hello. I love to chat with you. Let me turn on the comments so I can talk with you. Hope you're all doing good, having a good Monday. Praying for all of you Florida people. I was just out taking my mom to physical therapy, listening to the radio while she was working out, and heard about the hurricane in the Port Chapel Hill, praying for all of those students and faculty and people at the University of North Carolina, UNC. I guess there's something going on there. Ooh, terrible, terrible. Today I'm going to show you a technique that was spurred on to me by Craft Roulette. I've been a guest crafter on Craft Roulette a couple of times, I think 3 or 4 times. And Craft Roulette is a live game show, and everyone can participate. You can craft right along with them and submit your creation, your project, and Mary will always share it on the next week's show. So, hi Kathy. Make sure you check that out. I have a link to her YouTube channel there on in the description. I think it's below. So we are going to make this card, and I'm going to show you a technique that I used. I just tried it out this morning, and I think I love it, and I will use it again. Oh, I need to turn my camera around. There we go. Oh, we're upside down. What is happening? No, we're not. It looked like we were upside down there for a minute. Kathy said she just talked to her friend in Florida, supposed to hit her area between midnight and 5 a.m. tomorrow. Wow. Hopefully everyone stays safe and no damage to their property. I don't know if you can see the flowers. There we go. I'm using some dies that you can make some dimensional florals out of, but mainly I wanted to show you how you can create this fun tie-dye background. Now, the reason this is spurred on by, I wonder if I should get my camera a little lower. There we go. Let's try that. Spurred on by Craft Roulette, the parameters for the game this week were a ladies card. So this is very feminine, I thought, with the pinks and the flowers. It had to have a plant, so I have 2 flowers. That's my plant. The colors were candy. So I think you could use any color for candy. These are Jolly Rancher colors, I think. And random is tie-dye. So that's what really intrigued me. I wanted to try this technique for the tie-dye. So to do this, you are going to need, you're going to need some tin foil. And I have cut a piece. Forgot to put my little face in the corner. There we go. I've cut a piece that's 5 1/2 by 4 1/4 probably. It's the size of a card front. I didn't need it any bigger. We're going to use a smaller sheet, but I wanted my colors to spread all the way to the edges. So I cut my tinfoil. And this is heavy duty tinfoil. I did not try it with regular, but I bet it would work. You'll just have to play around with it and see what you get. So I've taken a piece of basic white cardstock, and this measures, I cut it a little smaller than a normal first layer. It's 3 7/8 by 5 1/8. So I wanted my card base to kind of frame it, and my card base is Sweet Sorbet So it's kind of a pinkish red. My flowers are Sweet Sorbet and Gorgeous Grape. And I'm using 3 markers, Stampin' Write markers. These are water-based. You have to use water-based markers. You could use Crayola markers, whatever you have. And I just picked the Sweet Sorbet, the Gorgeous Grape, and Pumpkin Pie. I threw a little orange in there for fun. So that is what you're going to need to make this tie-dye background. And I'm thinking if we had chosen some Regal colors, some Cajun Craze, Pumpkin Pie, and I don't know, Mossy Meadow, we could have made like a fall background for an autumn card or a Halloween card. So maybe I'll try that when I get off. That would be fun. I'm going to just spread out my, this is just an old mat that I got years and years ago, but it's just to keep my surface clean. You could use wax paper, parchment paper. Some of you have those fancy glass mats. You could use whatever, but it's just to keep my surface clean because we're going to use, we're going to spritz some water. So you'll need a little spray bottle. I used this last couple weeks ago when we did our faux watercolor card. Pretty. And I just said I really like this Ranger Mister. Stampin' Up! Sells some misters, but I do not like them at all. So I also have a mister that I've misplaced that someone gave me, and they got it at the Target, you know, where the travel stuff is, and it works fabulously. I think one of my grandchildren wanted to spritz and they ran off with the spritzer, and that's why I can't find it right now, but I will find it eventually. So anyway, you're going to want a piece of tin foil. Like I said, this is the heavy duty. It is nothing fancy. Simply Done is my brand, I guess, this week. And it is heavy duty, but I think you could probably do this with normal. You just have to test it and see what you get. And you want to kind of crinkle it. Now, I'm not going to ball it up because I don't want to tear the foil. That's another reason to use the heavy duty. I just want to make some little crinkles in the foil. And that's going to create that tie-dye effect. And then I'm going to just smooth it all back out. We're going to kind of use this as, what would you call it? A stamp platform, I guess. Okay, so I've smoothed it all out, but it's all crinkly there. And then I'm going to take my watercolors, and I'm going to start with the lightest color first, which is this Pumpkin Pie. And I'm just going to do kind of some starbursts out from the center. It's nothing fancy. And no two are going to look alike. And I didn't feel like this damaged my marker. I'm using the brush tip. I didn't feel like it did any damage to my Stampin' Write markers. And then I'm going to take my red, or no, this is, what did I say? Sweet Sorbet. It's kind of a pinkish red. And I'm going to go out a little bit further. I'm kind of making, you know, like a sun rays. I hope you can see it on the camera. And then I'm going to add a few, not a lot, but a few over that orange. And then I'm going to take my Gorgeous Grape, finally, and go all the way to the edges. This will get on your fingers because it's wet on the foil. And it is water-based, so it doesn't dry real. All right, I'm going to take a little bit more of my Sweet Sorbet and add a little bit of it, not a whole lot, but just a little bit to the edges too. Okay, So that's that, and that we're going to try and get something similar to this. I'm going to put that way over there so it doesn't get wet. Then I'm going to take my mister, and the look you get is going to depend on how much water you use. So like I said, this is something you're going to want to play with, but I'm holding my mister about, probably 12 inches out, and I use quite a bit of water. And then I'm going to take my basic white, still trying to call it Whisper White, after all these years, and just kind of apply pressure because I'm wanting that color to go up onto the paper and absorb up on there. And when we pull this off of here, we'll see what we get. We might be happy, we might not. Okay, that's pretty good. Doesn't that look like tie-dye? Now, what I did with my other sample is I just kind of took the foil, and in the places I felt like needed a little bit more, I just, oops, I didn't want to smush it like that. But that's okay. It didn't, I thought it would blur. And I'm just adding a little bit more color in those spots that didn't pick it up very well. And that could have been there wasn't a lot of water there. And you know what? We could try this. I mean, as long as we're playing, I'm going to add another spritz, because I don't feel like this color is coming off the foil at all. There we go. See how that looks like tie-dye? Groovy, man, groovy. Okay, so we're done with this, and we're going to set that aside to dry while we make our flowers. I really like that. I like how that turned out. So my card base is the Sweet Sorbet, and it's just an A2 size card base, which is 8.5 by 5.5, and I've scored it at 4 1/4 right in the middle to make a card base. And we don't really need that right now either. We're going to make our flowers. And for the flowers, I'm using a die from our Stampin' Up! Annual catalog. These are paper florist dies, and they make beautiful three-dimensional flowers. I think you can kind of see on this one how I folded them up. Now I didn't go crazy on this one because it is a card and I will mail it. But can you see how the petals just fold up, and I have ink all over my fingers, so that's the sign of a true artist. So they're really fun, and I've seen a lot of beautiful projects using the dies, some three-dimensional home decor items, which I hope to create soon when I have time. All right, so we're going to make our flowers, and what I did is I used this die right here, and I cut out 2 gorgeous grapes and 2 Sweet Sorbet. We're not going to use all of them. And then I also cut out these little doodads and these little center, sorry about my dirty fingers, we're going to use those to put in the center of our flower. And then I cut out 3 of the leaves. So I used this die. I wanted that little center. I used this die. That's that little doodad. And then this leaf. I cut 3 of those out for my flowers. So to put your flowers together, real simple. We're just going to take 2 of the larger petals and glue them together. Kind of cattywomp from each other. And I'm using multi-purpose liquid glue. I think glue dots would be terrific for this as well, and add a little dimension as well. It would add just a little bit of height. And then I'm going to add the little doodad. Right in the center. I went very monotone with my flowers. And then this little floral center. So it's going to look like that. Now, let's try it with the glue dots and see if it looks any different. I will grab my, so we went, so we ended up with an extra. Two of the bigger petals. I don't think it's going to make that big of a difference if using the liquid glue or the little mini glue dots. The mini glue dots will be less mess and it seems a bit quicker. Just my opinion. And I ended up with 2 extra of those. All right, and then we'll put our little doodad on there. And finally, the little flower center. Okay, so there's our flowers, and then you can just kind of use your fingers and pull all of these things gently. Our cardstock's pretty tough, so it would depend on if you're using like designer series paper or something like that. You'd want to be a little bit more gentle. But we're just going to kind of pull these petals. I'm holding my thumb right in the center. So cool. Makes me want to go out and buy some little Dollar Tree frames and put these flowers in the corner. Have y'all ever done that? Just to dress up a little frame. So there's our first flower, and then we'll do the same over here to our gorgeous grape. So there we go. Isn't that cute? Okay, now we can, this is dry enough, so we can put our card together. Oh, why don't we go ahead and do our stamping? So I'm just using a bundle, stamp die bundle. Something fancy. I love this little sentiment. Grateful for the everyday magic of you. And it has coordinating dies that work with all of the sentiments. I'm going to use this one. These dies are great standalone dies if you're not a fan of the stamp set. These make great tags, great sentiment tags. They're awesome. I probably got the bundle mainly for the dies. All right, so then I took my Sweet Sorbet. When you purchase the bundle, though, which I have listed in the description of my products used today, you do, I think you still save 10%. I'm trying to think how old that bundle is. It might be an old bundle, and then in that case, you don't save 10%. I apologize. Just click on the product name in the description, and it'll take you there, and it'll let you know all the information you need to know. Okay. So I just have a scrap of basic white cardstock that in that pretty font. I wonder if that's somebody's real font. Like when Stampin' Up designs their stamps, I wonder if they grab somebody's pretty handwriting and create this beautiful font. That's a good question to ask. Hey, Craft Roulette, I am making my my feminine, no, it's a ladies card with a plant with candy colors and tie-dye. So I was showing everyone how to make a tie-dye background using aluminum foil. You all, Craft Roulette's episode Friday was the emphasis for my card today. I thought I would like to learn how to do that tie-dye background. I've seen it and I kind of wanted to try it out. So perfect timing, Mary. It is a Craft Roulette card. I will be submitting it this afternoon. Okay, I'm going to die cut this out over here on my table back here because I don't want to shake this surface. Mary, that might have been your cup of tea because it involved a lot of ink and tin foil. And markers. They were markers, not really ink, but it was the ink from the markers. Okay, so we're going to just slap this on our card base. I'm going to use some liquid glue just because this cardstock got wet, so I want it to lay flat real well and not pull back up. So I'm going to use some liquid glue. Make sure I've got that on there pretty straight. I think that's good enough. And then the first thing I did on my sample is I just put my sentiment where I wanted it to go, and I used Stampin' Dimensionals on that. I popped that up a little bit. I think that's the only thing I popped up on this card was this little sentiment tag. And I kind of want it a little south of center. And then I'm going to tuck my flowers just kind of around like that. And I can just use my liquid glue again. I'm going to kind of make sure I don't cover up my grateful. All right, then I just added some white, basic white leaf die cuts. I didn't really want to cover up my beautiful tie-dye background, so I just kind of tucked these kind of behind my little flowers. Three of them. And then you can kind of pull your leaves up too and give them a little dimension once they're glued on there. And that is the card. Isn't that cute? I just love that technique. And it's so simple. Like I said, depending on what colors you use, I think this would be a really pretty autumn card. You know, we kind of used our faux watercolor technique a couple weeks ago. I'll put a link to this video as well, where we we used our spritzer again, and inks, but this was just tinfoil and markers. And you could just use the colors that would go with the mood you're trying to create. I think if you use some, oh, I wonder, purple, orange, and maybe black. I don't know. That would be a cute Halloween card. Of course, your autumn colors, your regal colors would make a really pretty autumn card. Christmas colors, red and green. So just play around and use your imagination. It's very easy. Like I said, I use my Stampin' Write markers. As long as they're watercolor markers, you can use, like my grandkids could use Crayola, the Crayola watercolor markers, and they're everywhere right now with the school supplies. You just color on the foil like I showed you, and you can get the tie-dye effect too. Kathy, if you try it, you need to share it so we can all see what you did. So that is the card today, y'all. Thanks for joining me. I will be back next Monday. No, I will not. It's Labor Day, so I will not. So let's say I will be back a week from Wednesday, because I am going to begin my coffee and a card every Wednesday afternoon at 2. I've been saying I would start back after Labor Day, and Monday is Labor Day. Wow, summer went fast, right? So I will be back a week from Wednesday. You all have a great holiday weekend, a safe holiday weekend, and if you're in Florida, please stay safe and dry, and we will talk soon. Happy stamping!